Fancy.
How y'all doing this week in quarantine? Quarantining. Teening. Somebody's gonna come up with a quarantini. Martini. I don't know what they're gonna put in it. But it's gonna be one that's guaranteed to make you stay your butt home. How about that?
Oh, thinking the Mad Dog 2020 from those memes. I don't know how to make, but that's you need a vodka, huh, for a martini.
I don't know what goes in it. I don't
Oh.
drink. Well, I do drink, but I don't drink that much. If that makes sense. I mean, I drink. I'm a social drinker. That's what I am. I'm definitely a social drinker. So, okay, so let's get into it. This week, news we wanted to just kind of touch on the Van Jones comment on CNN. They got all y'all pissed. Van Jones, News One reports that Van Jones pretty much got his butt handed to him over his comment about lifestyle choices of Black people during this coronavirus situation. His exact quote is, I'm sorry, y'all, I had it right here, and then it went. He explained, diseases like hypertension, diabetes, asthma, and obesity make the virus far more deadly. And African American communities have these illnesses in numbers that are way out of proportion. And he added, doctors have been shown to give us steward services even when we have health insurance. So they don't give us the best service when we have health insurance. Additionally, we tend to live in neighborhoods where the stores sell less healthy food, fast food joints, and liquor stores provide too many meals in urban America. He says systematic racism on full display right now in our healthcare and economic system. So he suggests we drink more water, move our bodies, process emotional pain through therapy rather than comfort food or substance abuse. Commit to a spiritual or religious practice, meditate, rest, get more sleep. So fancy. Your thoughts?
You know what? Like when I first read that, I totally missed the recommendation in some type of way. But I already kind of shared with you that I didn't really see what was wrong with what he said. Once I started looking at the comments and kind of seeing where people's arguments were coming from, more so almost as if to say it was like he was blaming the Black community or blaming individuals for their circumstances, and like, you know, they were kind of like, you should poverty, you know, like you can't control all these issues. So my whole thing is I don't really see what was wrong. Maybe he could have worded it differently, but to be honest, a lot of what he said to me was really true. You know, we do know for a fact that the Black community is being hit by COVID, you know, in much larger numbers than other communities, that we've had more deaths. But we also know that for years we've been talking about obesity and things along the lines of that. For years we have been talking about healthier lifestyle choices. Like this isn't new. And then furthermore, though, what I really would have been thinking when he said that was more so like when, and I don't go out often, I really only go out when I need to. But whenever I go out, and I do, as I've shared, I do live in the hood. So I just see all these people out, no mask, no anything, you know, they're just out like there's nothing wrong. In my opinion, I kind of think he might would have had more, you know, his argument would have possibly been better had he went that way. You know, like we're not necessarily taking things seriously or taking the necessary precautions, but all of these issues, we know these are issues. Like if we don't accept them and like, you know, take responsibility for them, then how can we really move forward or have any open conversations about trying to do anything to change these situations? But we already know that these situations, you know, that these are really facts.
I totally agree with you, and I feel like the Black community don't want to own this shit.
Basically.
Hey, Nikki, hey, Mariah, they don't want to own their shit, and in actuality, like now, I even, I'm trying to lose the weight. My doctor told me for many years to stop eating beef. I just started, I just stopped eating beef in January. They wanted me to stop eating beef to try to help with my health issues. What are we gonna do for ourselves? Everybody else can't do it for us. Yes, we live in these poverty neighborhoods. Yes, we live in food deserts. Yes, 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 yes. All of these different things. However, when we go to the store, we can make better decisions. When we're cooking here, a couple of weeks ago, I told Chloe, I said, "Girl, every night has been carved down. We can't eat carbs back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back like that. We need to start." But the thing is, we like to eat for taste when we should, eat to live. And that's a difference. We have a different thought process. And if it goes against what this is not how we didn't, we lived and everything, then it's something wrong. And it's something wrong with the person that's giving us the information. And I think that's totally incorrect. And even if he just said, in that, even doctors, he didn't even just say us on our own shit. It's doctors don't give us the best health care, even no matter what type of health insurance we have. I think in that also I read it said that that the it says something about my mind. I'm sorry. Anyway,
it happens.
I know I'm like in the middle of what I'm saying. Anywho, we have to own our stuff. The government can do so much, and like he said, systematic racism. We can have the best jobs. Oh, that's what he said. He was saying that we take lower paying jobs because some of us can't give up weed just to take a piss test. And whatever you want to indulge in, but you just gotta take this test one time. For those who need. Sometimes we take a lesser paying job. Sometimes we don't go after what we need to go after because of whatever reason.
Right. Our vices hold us back.
I don't have an outfit. They have all these different places that will give you an outfit. Go ask somebody, just different things. I feel like we're our own worst enemy at times. And then when somebody try to tell us that we should do better, then we won't fight.
Yeah. Also, I saw people like, it's a lot of things that Van Jones shouldn't be reporting on. And I was like, it's just like y'all just, flip the script because of one thing that he said. Excuse me, but before, everybody was excited when he got a show and this, and that. So I think maybe they just, like you said, they didn't want to hear it, but sometimes things need to be said. So
exactly. So moving on, staying in the realm of Van Jones. Van Jones is a part of the Reform Alliance. The goal of the Reform Alliance is, and I'm reading straight from their website. Today, the U.S. criminal justice system controls the lives of 6.6 million human beings by either imprisoning them or keeping them stuck in a revolving door of probation and parole. That's a ridiculous number, much, much larger than any country on earth. Our goal is to dramatically reduce the number of people who are needlessly trapped in the system. We will do this by changing the laws, policies, and practices that perpetuate injustice. Key to our strategy is changing hearts and minds to support real change. We are building an alliance of influential leaders in business, government, entertainment, sports, and culture to use our shared resources, energy, and platforms for massive impact. Our initial focus will be disabling the revolving door of probation and parole. Some key people who are chairs is Meek Mills is a co-chair. Michael Rubin is a co-chair. Van Jones is CEO of Reform. You have Jay-Z, Robert Kraft, Daniel Lowe, Michael Novogratz, Robert Smith, Clara Wu Tisa, and Laura Arnold are the people who are backing this. So we're gonna get mad at him about what he's saying about us changing our food habits, but we're gonna be happy about this reform, right or wrong.
Also, just as I was listening to more about the reform, it just made me think like a lot of times when people are so quick to judge off of a statement, I think that we should kind of look at the person, look at the backstory of the person that made the statement. You know what I mean? So that you can really understand where they're coming from. If he's doing this type of work, I'm pretty certain that he knows Black people. You know what I mean? He knows our behaviors and so on. He knows what's ailing us well enough to be able to make that statement. Now, if someone else had made that statement, yeah, it might could have been taken out of context, but I just don't see why that was seen that way.
As I always say, consider the source. Who said
right.
it? Who said it? Why they said it? In what way? What he was saying was COVID-19 is attacking the people who have underlying illnesses are dying. I have high blood pressure. I'm borderline diabetic. It's because of an illness that I do have. Don't get me wrong. But what can I do to stop that? Am I moving? Am I moving my body? Am I trying to eat a little bit healthier? What am I doing to fix those things that seem to be incorrect in my own lifestyle? Now, if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do and it still ain't working, then okay, I got a gripe. But I ain't doing everything, you know what I'm saying? But this is something good. The Reform Alliance. You guys can find out more about it by going to reformalliance.com. You guys have heard Meek Mills talk about it. You know that he went to jail recently due to he was on probation, and that's the reason incarcerations, because he was on probation from something that happened when he was a youth. But his probation was so long that it kept him pretty much in bondage. And some people, I was talking with one of my friends, and he was like, some of them jokers, they need to keep in jail. He was like, some of my family, they need to keep up in there. Even though it was things that they did wasn't as big, it wasn't murder, but some of them but hey, we know our people. We just have to hold them I keep having brain fart, y'all. I'm sorry. Make sure they're doing right, so they don't go back in. That's what I was about to say. Hold them, but there was another word I wanted to say. So that's that. Washington Farmer reports majority of NFL drafts first round picks have Black agents. Congratulations, guys. I think this is great. When would this stop being news? Is my thing. Like when is it gonna be the norm that that Black agents are here, they're just as good. That's what I mean when I say when do we stop? When does this stop being news? When do it stop being for the first time this? That's what I meant, Veronica. Accountability. Hold them accountable. Sorry. When are we going to I'm just ready for a time and a place when it's no more first. This is the first Black governor. This is the first female governor. This is the first this, that, and the other. Go ahead. Look like you're about to say something.
Well, I'm not going to say a time, because I see people question it, and I do understand, the thought process behind it. But then at the same time, it's still giving you something to celebrate, So, and we all feel those little moments of excitement, and we see the first Black this and the first Black that, not to mention, PR wise, they want you to try to lead with those type of headlines anyway right now. That's like good for Black PR. So I kind of get that. But I mean, it is really great, of course, that this has occurred. And I'll let you finish your thoughts on the matter before I go into mine, or
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so just a little bit more about this, I guess you say, event. It was actually 17 of the 32 first draft picks had Black agents, as well as some of them may have had like multiple agents, because some players do. And I also wanted to note that they accredited this to the late Eugene Parker. They called him, I want to say it was the super agent or something. I forgot the exact name, but like he must have been very big within the sports agents world. So one thing though that they did mention was the fact that because of everything being closed right now, they didn't get the opportunity like to get together and like really show that, so a lot of people may not even be aware that this took place or how historical that this moment was, because it wasn't televised the way most drafts are televised. So unfortunately they didn't get to experience that, but it is really great. So
Well, I'm happy for him. And I get what you're saying. It does give us a chance to celebrate. And I am celebrating. That's why, we wanted to make a note that, as a news topic, what had taken place. And I'm with you, because they couldn't be seen. We wasn't able to really check out what was going on. So
right. Well, so because I have our guest has joined us, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get the sponsor out the way. Y'all know how I be jumping. Sorry. So tonight's sponsor is Lakeisha Mosley brand. Lakeisha, wait, y'all. Okay, there we go. So Lakeisha Mosley is the event producer of the LM Experience, hostess of Convos with Keisha podcast, and a business and lifestyle blogger. You can learn more about her at www.lakeishamosley, that's mosley.com. And then her Instagram is Lakeisha, LAKSHAMMOSLEY. So it's Lakeisha M. Mosley. So I'm gonna go ahead on and actually let me leave that up, but I'm gonna go ahead on and bring in our guests for the evening, Miss Simone Andrianne. And it's counting down. Okay.
Hi, welcome, guys. I'm happy to be here tonight.
hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Look,
You got real cute for us, huh?
Look, I did. This is my first real full face in 8 weeks, so I went all out tonight.
Well, we like when people actually get dressed up, and you real cute. I like. What's that around your neck? That's a cute choker.
So, yes, this is like a little link necklace. Oh my God, I've had this for so many years. I think I got this from Target, maybe 4 years ago.
Target has some good jewelry. Don't sleep on Target.
Don't sleep on Target. No, not at all.
Welcome to the Theories and Thoughts podcast. I'm sorry, Fancy. What you about to say?
Oh, go ahead and do your thing.
Oh, sorry. Welcome to the Theories and Thoughts podcast. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here tonight. I think the topic and what I have prepared for everybody is definitely on the front of most business owners' minds right now. And so, yeah, I'm really happy to share this evening.
Okay. And Anya, I do not mean to keep cutting you off. I see you. Okay, I was just gonna ask Simone to first tell us a little bit about herself. But also, Simone, it seems like you sing low.
Let me see.
Is it just
turn the volume up? Let me make sure I'm all the way up. What about now? It was down a little bit. Can you guys hear me a little bit better?
It's still about the same.
Okay, let's see. Let's make sure. Output. Okay. I have it all the way up. Let's see. No, still?
No, but we can.
I mean, we can hear you. It's just we're louder than you.
Okay. I'll use my big girl voice. So,
okay.
I mean, I hear you guys loud and clear, and usually I'm the one with the big voice. So I'm not sure what that may be. Let me disconnect this Bluetooth too. Let me turn that off. And I'll just make sure if it sounds like I'm going out or you guys kind of can't hear me and I need to project a little bit more, let me know and I'll take it up a notch. Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So my name is Simone Andrianne. I am the founder of Overcoming Her, and in 2017, I made it my mission to start to build an online community really centered around women, really centered around helping them understand how their own life's obstacles were designed not necessarily to keep them set back, but really as an opportunity to push them towards the life that they deserve. And so in me kind of making the steps and making the moves to put that all together, what I found was that there were a lot of women that had a whole bunch of skills and amazing talents and gifts that they needed to figure out how to monetize. And that ultimately transitioned into business consulting. Now, the crazy part is, and I couldn't even figure this out on my own if I tried to, which is why I believe so much in purpose, is that it was a perfect marriage between what I love, which is business. I had been an entrepreneur for 13 years. And when I started in the personal development space, I didn't think that it was going to turn into business consulting, right? I wanted to help people get their minds right and get their life right. And I thought it was just going to stop there. But what ended up happening was that women started reaching out to me and they wanted to be able to put together the frameworks and the foundations for their businesses. And I loved it because that's my niche, right? I went to school for business. I have an undergraduate degree in marketing. I went back to school and got an MBA in international business. I have owned businesses in healthcare, childcare, real estate, pretty much anything that you could probably think of, I've tried. And so I've learned a lot along the way. And it's allowed me to now be able to be a place where people can come and together we can kind of craft out and carve out what it is that they want to have in their life and in their business. And so essentially, in the short of it all, I teach you how to take those obstacles, whether those obstacles are life obstacles or business obstacles, right? You're coming up against some struggles in your business, how we flip it and we turn it into opportunities to be successful.
Okay, so and I do see, Veronica, I see your comment about
it's still low. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't know what else we can do about it. Maybe when we get it prepared for like
let me grab my AirPods. Maybe if I connect through the Bluetooth, it might come in a little bit louder. Let me try that. Let's see.
Okay. Okay. Well, in the meantime, y'all, tonight's discussion is going to be on some tools for small business owners surviving the pandemic or surviving coronavirus. So if y'all have any questions, you all could be leaving those in the comments. Those would be greatly appreciated as well. And of course, you know, if you just to come on later, you can leave them then. And also, Anya, because your hair is really cute tonight. And my question was going to be for this evening is, how does y'all hair look now? Because I discovered that it's gonna be a little over a month before, you know, I can possibly get into the salon. So I'm just kind of wondering, how is everybody else's hair doing in the meantime? Totally off topic, but it was supposed to have, I was supposed to ask earlier.
I was gonna say Sharona had been doing hair videos. So she taught me how to do this right here. Well, do flat twists.
Oh, really? Oh,
she do one-on-ones too. But she did do one on locks. She did one on locks where she told people how to maintain their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Doing one-on-one classes, so that's something that people can do. But I think this red just really makes my hair pop, whatever. And I had my hair kind of like this one other time. Oh, we started talking about
no. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna connect these AirPods.
Okay.
So y'all
I had my hair like this one time before, but it was kind of twist, not flat twist, but it was another kind of twist.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was like, I'm gonna do my hair like that. Thank God I know how to do my own hair. But do you see all this new growth? And I haven't had my hair dyed for a month, maybe a month, and I got all that new growth.
Well, you have a lot of hair.
Yes. So I just did a flat twist around, and this. So, how y'all maintaining during this pandemic? So y'all tell us in the comments how y'all maintaining. Y'all getting cute? Y'all getting cute for Zoom every day for y'all Zoom meetings?
Okay, what about now? Do we have, is it a little bit better? No, still low?
It's it's about the same,
About
but
Yeah.
the same.
we could just
Okay.
roll with it.
I don't know what that is. I
It's
mean, it
okay.
sounds crystal clear on my end, so I'm not sure. Maybe do you want me to come out and maybe come back in, or you just
No.
okay,
It's
okay,
fine. We'll
okay.
just try to see if maybe when we get the audio cleaned up, like for the actual audio
Well,
portion
yeah.
of it, I'm gonna try to see about that.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to make sure that that we can hear it. So, like I said, if I need to just kind of project my voice, I'm gonna pay attention to the chat. Y'all let me know.
Okay. So now you just kind of told us before, basically you help women like with their, what is it, turn their obstacles, into their strengths.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of perfect for right now, especially because with the pandemic and everything being shut down. I know, I mean, not even just women, but men as well, or just some people may be kind of in a lost space. We're kind of like a month and a half into things, so
Mhm.
some people might actually have found their way more so. But I know you have some tools for survival, so
Absolutely.
I'll just kind of let you go into your thing and you know.
Perfect, perfect. So initially, right when all of this started, this whole corona pandemic, it started to hit the news. I instantly started to transition my mind into the opportunities that were going to come available because of this, right? I knew that it was going to give a lot of people a lot of free time that they didn't have before. And because it's very essential that our government and the economy stays in circulation, right? There were going to be things that were going to be put in place that will keep it flowing and keep it going. And so for me, a big part of it was like staying educated, staying up to date on what was happening, right? And
Mm-hmm,
so literally that first press conference that Trump did, where he started to announce this CARES Act and it was going into legislation, I knew that I needed to educate myself about that. So, one, I could pass that information on to my clients that I work with one on one, but then
mm-hmm,
also so that way we can get that message out to the people that need it the most, right? Because the reality is, there is, no shortage of opportunities. There's only a shortage of creativity, right? So what happens is in times like this, when we come up against adversity or pandemics or furloughs from work or laid off jobs, right? It's not that even those things are there to keep you stuck, right? It just means you really got to put your brain to use, right? It's no time to be lazy in those moments. We have to adjust. And so yep, no shortage of opportunities, only shortages of creativity. And I've seen some of the most creative opportunities coming on the table right now, especially for people that are like service providers. So if you're a hairstylist or a photographer, you fall into any one of those categories, right? You really have to stretch your creative muscle. And because of the fact that majority of people are at home, right? We're all kind of so scrolling through social media most of the day trying to find something to do to fill up the time. This is the prime time to try to identify, if you are already in business for yourself, how do you reach your ideal customer and get connected to them, one, or if you're not in business for yourself, how you gonna set up an extra stream of income in this time, right? Because we all need multiple sources, not just one. This, if this didn't teach you anything, it should have taught you that it's important that we have multiple streams of income coming in and out.
mm-hmm. So from there, I mean, then for those, I guess starting with those who are already in business, like what type of tips would you give them as far as for finding their ideal customer?
Absolutely. So there's a couple things that you should be focused on if you are the business owner and you're trying to figure out who you can connect with. And there's something called an audience persona, right? I talk
Mhm,
about this to every whenever I'm onboarding someone for the first time. And most times people, especially women, like I get this a lot with my female clients versus men, but especially women, right? We say, oh, our product is for everybody, right? Oh, well, what I got is for everybody. That's not true, right? And instead of you niching it down or narrowing it down to like this highly specified thing, what I try to get people to walk through or think through or process through is, what are the behavior patterns of your ideal client, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
they going to spend their time doing? What do they enjoy reading? Where do they enjoy shopping, right? Because if you can spend the time to develop the persona, right, just the image of the ideal client, then you'll realize that broad that's a very broad spectrum, right? It's not as narrow as a lot of new business owners think that it is, that keeps them away from trying to be targeted, right? Because really the magic is in the targeting. Everywhere you look, right, we're talking about these Facebook ads and Instagram ads and how you can drive sales to your business through that. And it's an amazing tool. But if you don't know how to use it properly, all you're doing is helping Facebook get rich, right? Because it's not going to convert to sales for you because you
Right.
don't have it targeted properly. You don't have it set up properly. And the magic behind it is that it's not like a one trick pony, right? You can't run one ad to one group of people for a few days and think that that's going to return you, some crazy amount of return, right? It's
Right.
really several activities that you're doing simultaneously that transitions over into sales, that converts over into sales. Okay. And so, I want to make sure that we don't forget about this SBA piece, right? This loan piece, the payroll protection, and all of those resources that the government announced that we could really use for our growth and our advancement of our businesses. And to be honest with you, if you get them right, if you are fortunate enough to get your application processed and the money just magically showed up into your account, because that's how it happened with a lot of people, right? They didn't get an email, they didn't get a phone call. Literally, they checked their business account and the SBA funds were there. Now, depending upon how you submitted your application would determine how much of that money that you received. But it's important to know which parts of it will be forgiven and you can use it as a grant, and what parts of it you are going to have to pay back. Because the reality is that that was just also a version of a stimulus package, right? The government not giving away anything, right? They not just handing out dollars, okay? And I want everybody to understand that, because they're framing the message around this whole grant program, right? In this whole forgiveness program. But you have to meet certain provisions for you to qualify for that forgiveness, right? Which means you had to spend 75% of those funds on payroll costs. Period. I'm not talking about no marketing dollars. I'm not talking about rent on your space. I'm not talking about new inventory. I'm talking about 75% of the funds had to be allocated towards payroll, which essentially means that you're keeping the economy stimulated, because now your work staff gets to stay employed, which means they get to pay their bills and they don't have to put them off. And right, it just keeps the currency flowing. That's their whole play on this. The moment that it's time for those documents to be submitted, when they get to determine whether it's going to convert from that grant over into repayment terms, if 75% of it wasn't allocated towards payroll, guess what? You got a new bill, right? So I encourage everybody, one, if you did get the money and if you haven't applied for the money, you're not missing out on much. I promise you, you're not missing out on much. Do not think as a business owner you missed the boat just because you didn't get that SBA loan or the payment protection loan. The reality is, to be honest with you, you may be better off without it. Okay? Because without it, it forces you to have to continue to make your own way. It forces you to have to continue how to be creative and market. Okay? And so I just wanted to reinforce that, because we need to know those things. Because what I don't want to see 3 months from now or 6 months from now are businesses that aren't able to sustain because they have this new overhead on top of them, right? They have this new bill that they have to figure out how to service. And the worst person to owe is the U.S. government. Because
Listen,
they not going to never forget about it, right? It's never going away. Okay. And so be very diligent, have proper bookkeeping, right? A lot of self employed individuals, a lot of small business owners, we don't have any bookkeeping processes, right? Everything is straight off the debit card, right? We living out of it, we buying our lunch off of it, we, living life out of the business. It's very important that, especially when you start borrowing funds from people, that you have proper bookkeeping. Okay. And so if you don't have a bookkeeper on staff, that's okay. QuickBooks is bae, right? QuickBooks will literally walk you through everything you need to be able to have an accurate bookkeeping process. If you don't have it, start it now, right? Especially if you got that money. And if you didn't get the money, you still need to be tracking your expenses, because how do you know if you're doing the right thing in your business if you don't have any metrics to measure that by? Right? How do you know if your marketing is working, right? If you're being profitable by the dollars that you're spending, if you're not tracking it. If Facebook just hitting your account whenever they get ready and you just blowing and going, right? It's important that we pay attention to the numbers, because at the end of the day, the numbers are going to be your indicators. Numbers don't lie, right? They're going to tell you straight up if you have a real business or if you have a hobby, right? That's costing you money. Okay. And so I want all of, especially my female business owners, but really all business owners, to understand the importance of knowing your numbers, taking advantage of this opportunity, right? There's no excuse, in my opinion, right? We can only be stuck for so long. Like, we could only allow the shock of what's happening to be a shock factor. You got 2 weeks in my book, and honestly, that's really too long. After about 2 weeks, it's time for you to start coming with some fresh ideas, right? Coming with some fresh tactics, figuring out how you can pivot a little bit, how you can add maybe a new product or a new service to your existing offerings that will keep you in business through all of this. Okay? For sure.
Anya, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say I totally agree with all of that, especially the 2 weeks. It's like you knew it was coming. Okay, we're in it. You don't have a long time to be able to sit and stew in it. It's
Yep.
time to come up with ideas. It's time to figure out what you're gonna do. What's the next? You know what I'm saying? Kind of. You should have, as a business owner, you should have had goals.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that you are already going to be working on. How can you convert them to still work during this economy as it is now? And I'm with you.
Absolutely.
If I don't have to get a backing, I'm not gonna touch a backing.
Yep.
If I don't have to, I'm not gonna get it, because again, like you said, you have to pay that money back, and I don't want to pay you back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm trying to keep everything in house to keep this business afloat. I don't have time to do that.
Absolutely.
So
I
I'm
am
with you.
I'm 100% anti-debt, right? I
Me
don't
too.
I don't really subscribe to, going out and making bills for myself or for my business, right? And I think one of the ways that they enticed a lot of business owners was with that whole forgiveness piece, right? Oh, if you get it and you take the advance, right? It'll be forgiven. Another thing, they're figuring this out as they go, right? This is like really completely on the fly. I'm telling you, and it's evolving literally every single day. Okay. And so the reason why we can't find what the provisions are specifically for what's going to be forgiven or not is because they don't know yet. They don't know at all. Thank you, are so welcome, right? They don't know yet. They are trying to determine how much of that money is actually going to stimulate the economy and keep things moving there. If that plan doesn't work, guess what? They gonna want their money back. And the SBA already put out an addendum that was addressing like the bigger businesses that took those funds, that sucked up those payroll protection funds really, really quickly, that may not have necessarily met the criteria, because the criteria was you had to be a small business with less than 500 people, right? But there were major corporations that,
The Lakers.
received millions of dollars in those funds, millions of dollars, right? And so, when that addendum came out, it's telling them they need to send that money back, right? So it can be properly reallocated. But what that says to me is that it's not all figured out. They don't have it all figured out. They're doing it as they go. Okay? And so for the people that are going to be directly impacted by it, which are people that have received funds, okay? You are going to have to make it your mission to stay on top of the evolution of this thing until we see it through. Because I don't even know, I honestly don't even know how it's going to turn out and what they gonna put in the mix that's going to require you to pay it back. Now I do know that they started listing that the terms of repayment was going to be 36 months, right? So they were gonna put these loans on 3-month repayment terms, okay? Just so you have an idea, and that you wouldn't have to start making payments. I want to say I think it was like 6 months out. Okay, so we got a little bit of time before the repayment starts, but after that, you got 3 years to get them their money back.
Well, I think it's uh oh my gosh. Now I'm like on you. But it was a great point that you made. Oh, that they don't know what they're doing, basically. I
They don't.
mean, because once you look at that, that kind of helps you just kind of, say, hey, I might,
Yep.
rethink things because you really don't know necessarily what you're getting into. And I know
Mhm.
one of our other guests had already said, like, initially when they first began to discuss the loans, she was just like, if you don't need it, then don't get it. And when she said that, then I was like, okay, keep
Yep.
that in mind, So
Yep. I did not apply for it for myself or for my business. I have 3 employees that I keep on payroll, and praise God, I have not been affected in a way where I was not able to meet my financial obligations, but I didn't even apply. Although I helped several of my clients complete their applications. And I said to them, hey, don't think about this as like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where you can just put out there what you want and think that, you'll be able to kind of get this money and just use it however you want to use it. If you don't need it, let them keep it. Like literally let them keep it, because I promise you it'll probably be worth the headache to not even have to deal as they start to figure out how this is all gonna work itself out. Now,
right.
but if you did get it, make sure, like I said, at the end of the day, if you can allocate it towards payroll costs, if you can show where you had, and I'm not talking about 1099 employees, I'm talking about W-2 employees, because that's going to be a part of the provision, right? They're not talking a lot about that just yet, but you have to have these employees on a payroll, which means you are withholding taxes from their payroll checks whenever it runs. This is not like just cash apping somebody some money for something, or 1099 in them and it's just straight pay. That's not going to apply in this situation. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm typing the
Oh,
notes. Like, as you're saying this, I'm typing the stuff in the comments. I think that might be helpful for
yes,
people.
yes, keep that in
So,
mind.
so is it? Maybe I don't know if I misread. So you have a book.
I do. So I released the book. Let's see. Let me get in the frame. There y'all go. Refusing to quit. Right. This is essentially my memoir. It is the most valuable lessons that I have learned in my 33 years of life. What has brought me to the place that I am at today, which I can say that I get the opportunity to do what I love, make an impact on the world, right? Live life purposefully and enjoy every moment of it. And it took a lot of work to get there, right? It took a lot of commitment to the process, because I was no short of struggle, right? I had been through probably some of what most people couldn't even imagine, right? And I will tell you, it was my refusal to give up on myself and to give up on my dreams and my hopes for my life that has helped get me to the place that I'm at today. And so I released the book in January. I worked on it all 2019. For 2020, I had this whole book tour planned out. We were going all across the country to make this happen, but that's okay. Corona slowed me down, but it didn't stop me, because we're definitely going to, and the beauty is the whole movement is, right, refusing to quit. So you can't let nothing get in your way, right? You got to figure out how to you got to figure out how to navigate the adversity, because that is what the message is. And so we will go back to the drawing board and replan the stops for the book, but you can find it on Amazon. Refusing to quit. It's key principles for overcoming life's struggles. And, all of us have gone through some things, right? Everybody's life will deal you your fair share of disappointments and maybe heartbreaks and struggles. And it's never about, what happened to you. It's all about how it happened for you and how it happened to kind of move you along in the journey in life. As I think through, some of the things that I have gone through, whether it was teenage pregnancy, I had my oldest son at the age of 16, or surviving domestic abuse and running for my life, right? And just navigating just the waters of heartbreak after heartbreak, because I was trying to identify myself by a relationship. I will say that, like, all of it truly worked together for my best good, right? It worked together to constantly prepare me and constantly push me and constantly get me to the place that I'm at today. So I wouldn't trade it. Now, in the midst of it, it didn't feel like that. In the middle of it, I was like, oh my God, why me, right? So I know the Why Me song, because I sang it for a very long time, but once I really got serious and I took advantage of placing myself in isolation. And so that was another thing that I've really been talking about a lot on my personal development platform, on the Overcoming Her platform. It's like, hey, we can take this isolation and we can use this time, whether it's some things you need to work on in your own life and dealing with your own mindset and the way that you make decisions, to your business as well. Don't think for a second that this isolation and this still period, because oftentimes we'll fill up our schedules with a bunch of stuff, right? We could get real busy to not have to deal. We can find every happy hour to go to, every brunch to be
Listen,
at, right? Every single thing to do. So that way we don't have to deal with those internal pieces, right? And so my biggest advice is that you take this time right now in the areas of your life that you feel like may be lacking. You use this to kind of perfect and work on, right? You have the ability to decide. And so you can visit my website. It's simoneandrianne.com, where you can get access to the book. You can purchase it there through the website. It'll link you straight to Amazon. I'm trying to get on that Amazon bestseller list, so I want to try to drive all of the traffic there. So if anybody is interested, you can definitely find it there. And then, stay connected, because I truly believe that a woman with the right mindset, right? Three core things that I hone in on whenever I'm speaking or whenever I'm teaching, and that's going to be mindset, right? Emotional intelligence and how you make your most important decisions, and then your finances, your financial literacy. If we can get those three areas of our life in check, then guess what? You have the ability to do anything. Everything is possible. There is no ceiling, right? There's no ceiling.
wow, you've given us a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Really good information. I hope you guys got your notebooks out and you were writing that down. Fancy put some things in the comments, some key things that Miss Simone said that was key. And as she said, refusing to quit. We can even use those tools now during this pandemic. Refuse to quit. Refuse to give up on things that we work so hard to do.
Okay. Well, I didn't have anything else for Simone, and we've given your website and Instagram name, but did you want to close with anything else? I'm sorry, I guess I got caught up in the note. Listen, I'm like, okay, I'm through off, but
That's okay. That's okay. And I know we probably had a little bit of a struggle with the audio. So I hope that you guys were able to catch a bulk of what I was saying, because now is the time, right? In the midst of economic downturn, in the midst of recessions, this is when people get rich, right? This is where millionaires can be made. And so you can either take what's happening right now, and you can be one of the people that look up, a year from now and 2 years from now and say, dang, man, I missed out. Or you can find the ways that you can participate. And that doesn't have to be like on the biggest scale. It can be within reasonable means, right? And I want to let you know that those opportunities are available, for people like us, right? They're there, um, looking to purchasing some stocks, right? Right now, they're at an all-time low. Educate yourself. If nothing more, when you start your morning, if you at the house chilling, go to CNBC and educate yourself first before you start scrolling through the gram, right? Just do something that moves your needle forward and moves you forward in life, right? I'm so happy that you guys gave me an opportunity to come on and share. If you want to stay connected with me, Instagram is usually where I'm hanging out at. You can see my handle there on the screen. It's Simone.Adrianne. I'm there most of the time. Outside of that, right? The book. Grab the book, right? The tour is coming back. We're gonna reschedule the dates, and so I will be in cities near you guys. Definitely, it's going to stop in 4 cities. So Atlanta, Chicago, New York, and DC are the 4 spots for the book tour. And the updates surrounding the tour dates, I'll release online first. So you guys will be the first to know as long as you stay connected.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, and y'all have a great night.
You too.
You too.
That was good. I like her website too. It's real soft and feminine.
Yeah, I love that goal and that fun. I was looking at that because it's always like it's so hard to get people to do that right. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But so yeah, and also I did put the name of the book where you all can find it on Amazon. So just so you know, if you all could support and help her make Amazon bestseller, I love her presentation. How she did that, and she kind of tied everything in together, but also being mindful of what she got going on and what she needs to, let other people know. So
definitely.
okay, so tonight's second sponsor is Blue Girls Turn Gold. The founder of Blue Girls Turn Gold, Maisha Monique Collins, is an award-winning activist, ordained minister, author, speaker, creative strategist, and transformation experience coach. Blue Girls Turn Gold is a national organization whose mission is to empower women. You can find them at bluegirlsturngold.org. And then on Instagram, you can find them at Blue Girls Turn Gold. So, and it's just all the way it is. And you want to spell everything out, but it is the way it is. But it is a S on girls. So
Fancy makes fun of me, y'all. For your audio people, I be trying to look out for y'all. That's all. That's all that is. Anywho, don't forget we have our never thirsty tumblers. I'm always drinking out of my water. Last week, Fancy shared that she drinks more water because she drinks it out of here. I'm forever drinking out of this cup. And of course, it can be personalized. I love the gold and I love the logo. Tonight, I am wearing a shirt from So Graceful Ministries. Let's see. It says Buku Grace Squad. She has some other things. She normally have a conference in November. I don't know if how this might mess with that, but I just love Pastor M. On Wednesday morning, she has or is it afternoon? Mornings. She have an inspirational talk. She does like I guess it's a little sermon or whatever, just to kind of give you some encouragement. So she actually gave me this shirt back in 2017 when I was graduating with my bachelor's. And she was like, I just want to sow a seed into you. And she gave me this shirt and I just love it. I love the font. So I just decided to wear it today. The colors and the font. So I decided to wear it today. So that's the shirt I have on today. We don't have any events right now. Any closing things, Fancy, about Swagger?
Well, I just want to actually this isn't about Swagger, but I have some viewers I see from my watch party on my page. And last week I was trying to make certain that I kind of left some comments there as they were speaking, and I didn't do that tonight. So I just want to thank Ashante, Miss Dana Ao, and Tamisha for watching at my watch party. I appreciate you all. So
Thank you, guys. Um, Remember, you can catch me at Lady CEO on Facebook. On Facebook is Lady CEO with an I. On Instagram is Lady with an I _ CEO, and my YouTube where I have a bunch of different things going on. So, oh, you here for the buku? Oh, y'all know in New Orleans we use buku all the time. So buku means a lot. In case people was wondering, that's French actually. So, like I said, you can catch me on YouTube, on my Instagram as well, Lady with an I CEO. So, all right, that's all I have. Fancy you.
nope, that's it. Y'all have a good evening.
Bye.